Okay, so for all of these, think of them as building on each other, right? We had straight points, then we had curve points, then we had combination straight and curve points. If you do the first two and then you have trouble with the third one, it means you are going too fast. So think of them as levels and just go back and master curve points. It's a lot to kind of hold in your mind. Like for instance, that looks like a line, doesn't it? But it's not. It's a handle, and I'm controlling that handle, and then that's another handle. But the handles and the lines look exactly the same. So believe me, every single year I teach Illustrator, and you're not alone if you confuse the handles and the lines, right? But you just kind of get used to it, basically by drawing these amoeba shapes, right? So I know if I see a point. So if I'm using selection and I see a point here, that point is at the top of the curve, so I know that it has handles, right? I'm just kind of used to it. So when I click it, yep, sure enough, it has handles. But if I see this, then so if I see an angular point like that, I know that it does not have handles, and I'm ready for it, right? Oh, there's one with handles, there's one without handles, etc. So now we're going to do broken points, which are among the most confusing, and also the other thing you should know is that I don't really use them. So basically, and here's why. I try to avoid using them for sure, but sometimes you need them. So let's say you're going to draw a cloud, right? Just one of those cotton candy clouds. It's flat on the bottom. Now I'm just doing straight points. Now I'm doing the curves, and then I'm just kind of anywhere where the curves intersect, I just click instead. All right, here's my little cloud. All right, so I can get away. So I just click at those intersections. That to me is how I draw a cloud. And anything else, if you're working in this mode of being cartoony anyways, it doesn't matter that much, and I have enough control by going back to these points and changing them. Right, so I mean, this is in most cases enough for me. But you can do a kind of point where this isn't a straight point. So see, this point isn't defining anything. The curves up top are defining the arcs, right? Now these points in the center can have some control over the curve, and if you make them broken curves. So let's just see how to do that. Okay, so here's a curve. I go down here, I click and pull, and see how these handles are aligned? If I add option to my pull, the handles break, right? And so that's also a tool. You can see it, and I just call it the point breaker tool, right? It changes the nature of points, and it makes curve handles where the two handles are not aligned. So I'm at the top of the cloud. I want them to be aligned. And then when I go down here, I'll click and pull down and define my cloud. Then I add an option, swing it up, and I can go the other way and start on the upper arc. Cool. Now these are powerful enough that you can click and pull down, add option, and you don't even need that top arc, right? So I don't need that top point. I can maybe get directly to my next bottom point. Click and pull down, then swing it back up with option, click and pull down, swing it back up with option, click and pull down, add option, swing it back up, click and pull down, add option, swing it back up, click and pull down, add option, swing it back up, click and pull down, add option, and swing it over there. Now I can click and pull straight, click and pull, add option, swing it up. So there's not really a shape that goes along with this, but you can think of, I'll know that you're using broken points correctly when I see these shapes. Now, in addition, you should know that I can go back and direct select this object, right? And direct select this point. And if I need to, I can hold Option, and this breaker tool will work on the handles. So I can break these out. Cool, right? So this is the kind of thing where I told you, like, I don't really talk to myself when I draw in Illustrator because I do it so much. And so I know when I need a straight point versus a curved point. But when I'm breaking points, I kind of need to go slowly and watch what I'm doing. All right. So just show me some clouds, some shapes like this, and that you have control over it, you understand it. And I will show you one other thing that it does. So if you think about those points, we can, what the exercises that I've given you where you just click and pull. Now, just focus on those. Make straight points by clicking, make curve points by clicking and pulling, and that is almost 90% of any design that you want to make in Illustrator is clicking and click and pulling. It's much more intuitive if you just focus on your muscle memory in your fingers and seeing like, oh, I'm at a corner, I'm drawing a box, that should be a click. Now I'm drawing a rose petal, that should be a click and pull, right? If you can get that instinctually, you have Illustrator, you do, right? But if we were to be non-instinctual and and have an instruction manual or something, that you should know that there are a bunch of different points, right? So the type of points that we defined are straight points. Straight points, curved points, click and pull. Okay, straight points click, curve points click and pull. Let's see here. Straight points click, curve points click and pull. Broken curves. Click, Option pull, and then and that's it. There's 3 types of points, right? Now it's not important that you cognitively remember these. It's important that you have that control in your fingers, right? That you are ready to click, that you're ready to click and pull, and then on occasion you know that you can use Option to change directions in a point. All right, now there's one more thing I wanted to show you while we're doing this. I always use direct selection followed by the pen. Let's see. So when you use Option, right, then and you manipulate those handles, if you're in an aligned curve like this, if I use Option and manipulate those handles, it'll break, right? So I'm breaking the relationship between those 2 curves, and I can adjust them how I want. But if I use Option and click on the point, this is something I usually don't do, but it'll cycle between those 3 things. So right now this point is a broken curve. If I use Option and click on it, I've changed it into a straight point, right? So then I can start over. Now it's a straight point. If I hold Option and click on it and pull it, I can change it back into a curve. And this is a curved with aligned handles. If I hold Option again and grab one of those handles, then I can change it into a broken point, right? So any of these things, I can cycle through all of the kinds of points that Illustrator offers, right? So there's never really any mistake. You just have to kind of think carefully about what you're doing. So at this point here, I can say like, this really doesn't work for me. I need to add Option, click and pull, and I want that to be a curve. I think the cloud would look better if it were all curves. So no problem. Find a straight point, add option, click and pull, and then I have all curves, right? And while we're here, there's another couple controls that let's just look at. But the definition of this exercise is to show me these broken handles, right? Show me points with broken handles, and I'll kind of know what they look like and make as many cloud forms as you can. Especially if you really want to prove it, like this actually could be a straight point, but if you really want to prove it, see, I can see a curve leading up to here and then a curve rebounding out of that point, so that has to be a broken point. So that is really, really essential, but it's also kind of advanced. I don't use them too much because mostly I can do straight points and curve points in combination and draw almost anything. So there's another couple things I would like to show you. So the pen tool has all these subsets, right? And you have to be really careful because these are pointless tools that are already in the pen tool, right? So this is add anchor point and this is delete anchor point. And the tool that I call the corner breaker under option is actually called the anchor point tool. So add and delete anchor point are unnecessary tools because they're already automatically in the pen all the time. And they can also mess you up because their key command is plus and minus. So if you have a zoom system, you know that command plus is zoom, command minus is zoom out, right? So I'm always doing that all the time on a keyboard. So if I kind of press plus by accident without pressing command, I'll switch into that subset of the pen tool, which I never ever need. So all of these tools you can ignore. Just always use the pen, always use direct selection first, followed by the pen. And let's see how these tools work. So if you take the pen and hover on any point and you click it, it will delete it. If you think, oh, it would be really nice if I had more control here on this curve, all you have to do is take the pen and hover over a line where there's no point, click it, it'll add a point, and then hold command and you can move the point, right? So all of that is stuff that you can play around with in this advanced part of it. You can't really show it in your assignment, but just kind of work like this. You make a shape, you select the shape, you have the pen, you add it with the pen, but I don't click it again because then I'll just eliminate the point, right? So none of these tools respond well to rapid clicking or rapid scribbly mouse movements or pulling this really far away. You have to get control of these tools, make notes for yourself, and think about every single move. So I can add a point, and now I want to move it, but if I click now, I'll delete it. So I have to hold command, switch to direct selection, and then I can move it, right? All of this is just things that they're simple ideas. So we could do it together and discuss them. You could be tested over them or something like that, but nothing compares to just practicing. And honestly, the main core of your practice is just this, right? Straight and closed. I'm drawing a box. Now I'm drawing a four-leaf clover. So curved, straight, curved, straight, curved, straight, curved, straight, right? And so this is the level of progression. I just clicked 4 times. Now I clicked and pulled. Actually, let's do this. Okay, click and pull, click and pull, click and pull, click and pull. So this is what you should practice. Just visualize these shapes, right? So drawing quick little boxes, then clicking and pulling, drawing organic shapes, then drawing shapes that combine straight points and curve points, and then finally being able to do these little bunny hops, right? Click and pull, add option, switch it up, click and pull, add option, switch it up, click and pull, add option, switch it up, click and pull, add option, flip it up, click and pull, add option, flip it the other way, click and pull, add option, flip it the other way. And like I said, I don't use these too often, so this is the only one that I do where I hear instructions in my head, right? You can even add option to the closure, see? But see how weird that is? You have to get used to that weirdness. This is when you're first using Illustrator, people will be like that. I'm not in control. The handle is not going the direction of the mouse. When you close it, the handle goes the exact opposite of the direction of the mouse. So you just have to get used to feeling that and not panicking about it. And if you can do all of these, then you can draw anything, right? These are straight points, these are curve points, combination curved and straight. And then finally, the broken curves, right? That is what Illustrator drawing has to offer. So this sheet is all about practicing the broken curves. And also while you're here, you can fool around with this pen. It's a brand new pen they made, and basically it draws only curves, right? Um, it's kind of nice, I suppose, but it's one of those things where uh, it's not really different than the other pen. It's just kind of a different way of using it, and so I sort of prefer this pen, and this is the master tool of Illustrator. So yeah. So if you were to focus on nothing else in Illustrator, it's this tool. The pen tool is the most powerful. It's the most important thing, and basically, it's a core function of all that Illustrator does. Right? If we study all these other tools, these are all just kind of like filtery specialist tools. This one makes graphs. I mean, that's the artboard tool. You need that. But basically, the one tool that you're using in Illustrator almost exclusively is the pen tool. It's the only thing that Illustrator has that no other tool, that nothing else in Adobe has, right? You'll see the pen tool in Photoshop, but it doesn't work right in Photoshop. So yeah. So this one is mastering broken points. If you do all of these, if you want to do Illustrator, do each of these simple exercises like once a day. Like just sit down and say, okay, now I'm going to make a sheet of square points. Now I'm going to make a sheet of curve points. Now I'm going to make a sheet of combination points. And now I'm going to make a sheet of broken points. And you will be good at Illustrator. You will know the core of it. And all this other stuff is pretty extraneous. All right, so that's it. So for this assignment, you should make a sheet of broken points, which are shown by these cloud forms or bunny hop forms. And that's it.